You've mentioned seeing and meeting with these bereaved families and whose children are still underground. Can you share with everyone what you saw in terms of, I know you've probably seen the video of the massacres by Hamas themselves, who admit and cheer, as you said, gleefully. What would you say to those who deny, and there's so many of them, that just say it didn't happen, October 7th didn't happen?
Well, one of the reasons I went, I was in New York on the 7th, and on the 8th went down to Times Square because there was an anti-Israel protest already, with gleeful people waving placards celebrating the massacre as the fighting was still going on in the south. And I happened to be doing a tour at the time, or starting a tour with Jordan Peterson around a number of European countries. And but I got to Israel as soon as I could. And yeah, I went round the kibbutz, which were very fresh still. Places like Nir Oz. I think, by the way, the term kibbutz, maybe we shouldn't use. I think we should just say villages, communities. I think a lot of people in the West don't understand what this is. You know, there's a sort of, it must be something strange. No, it's like a group of genocidal maniacs coming into your town. And yes, I've been in Gaza a fair amount. One of the reasons I went as soon as I could was because I had an early intuition that this denial was going to start. I thought it would. It always does in this scenario. I thought it was going to happen, and it has. And you know, there's two reasons why people do that. One is that they actually love what happened on the 7th, but they don't want to admit it. They're very, very happy about it. And we have these people. Some of them are on social media, some of them are on the streets. They actually celebrate the massacre of Jews. But there's another group, I think a larger number of people, who are aware that what happened is so appalling that if they were to confront it, they would have a problem. You know, if there was a cause that I espoused, the group that I backed, who did that, I'd have the same thing. I'd have two choices. Either I'd confront it or I'd try to get around it. If you're a decent and honest person, you try to confront it. You have to confront it. You have to face it. Even if you're on the side of the Palestinians or you're on the side of the citizens of Gaza, you'd have to confront the fact of what they did. Or you can try to get around the problem. So I knew that this was going to happen, and I knew that it was one of my duties as a journalist and writer to see it with my own eyes. But I'm amazed by some of the things I hear from the West. There's a close enemy of mine in the UK who saw a part of the 47-minute footage and did it like a film review in his column. So I said, well, we don't actually see any women being raped in the video. And you're like, wow, what a pit of malevolence you have to be in. We'll give you some other videos and you can get your popcorn out. What sick people there are around. But one of the things that has stunned me, I have to say, among young populations in the West is a very, very straightforward one, which is the Nova Party. If that party had been going on in Britain or America or Canada, like, or the young people here, you would have been at it, or your friends would have been at it. And you would have thought that in the international community, all those people who like to enjoy themselves, like to go to a party, would have some sympathy with the hundreds of young people who dreamt, not just of dancing, but dreamt of the day they could dance with their Palestinian neighbors, and who saw hell. And if I've been to several of the reunions of the survivors, and I mean, they are, even the most coping ones of them are wildly changed in a way that no amount of therapy can probably ever cure. And, you know, again, I'm just stunned by this very simple thing that always stuns me about the international reaction to Israel, is where is your empathy? Where is your damn empathy? I mean, I don't go into too many of the details, but one pretty hard day was the cars from the festival, which had blocked the road, you know, and where many people were killed and many were burned alive, were all collected in a site just down the road. And I was allowed access to it with my cameraman. And there were some remarkable young 19-year-old first-year IDF women helping out. But the task was being led by the amazing Orthodox Jews who do the collection of bodies. And they were cleaning the cars with a special device to make sure all the body parts were out, and the blood and everything else. And there were just huge sacks of ash. And that was what had happened to these hundreds of young people. Now how, in God's name, can any young person think that any of those people did anything wrong, or that anything could have justified that? What do you have to have become? And all I can say is, you have to have become somebody you should not ever want to be.